gonna be playing with Lenny. I'm your first intern. I'm gonna be playing with you and forget about Wednesday. Thanks.
obligation at any time. This is free information.
Good morning, Judge Porter.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge Porter. This is Louis Parker mom here.
All right, Miss Parker, or Miss Hawthorne, I'm sorry.
Too early?
No. You'll want to stay on the line. I'm going to put you on mute because Mr. Parker's hearing probably won't be for a little bit, okay? But you'll want to stay on the line. Okay. Let's go down there. Are you Mr. Conway?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Conway, my name is Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in detention or be released to a parent or guardian. You have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. You also have the right to have this hearing recorded if you want either of those things. Your attorney, Ray Hall, will let me know. Do you see Mr. Hall on the screen? He's the one waving his hand. He's got a turkey in the background.
I don't see nobody waving their hand.
All right. You see him now?
Okay, yeah, wait. Tell him to do it again.
He's waving his hand.
No, I don't see him.
Okay, look for the picture.
Unless it's further down there.
Okay, do you see Ray and Don Hall? That
Okay,
name?
yeah. Okay, yeah, I see him now.
Okay, that's Mr. Hall. He's your attorney. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, what I want you to do is wave your hand like this. That'll get my attention. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and your attorney to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Rojas, what brings Mr. Conway to court today?
Your Honor, Brandon was referred in custody yesterday by the Arlington Police Department for the offenses of burglary of habitation and engaging in organized crime. On the burglary of habitation, law enforcement responded yesterday at approximately 18:22 hours to the Brook Hollow Apartments. Contact was made with victim who advised that her apartment was broken into and that a HP Chromebook gray in color and a pink keyboard were taken from her bedroom. She also provided a list of additional items that were taken from her home. Brandon was seen running and was able to be detained by Officer Camacho. He was seen running with something in his hand. A laptop was found in the area where he ran. The laptop was able to be matched to the reported stolen items from the burglary of habitation that was reported. He was also seen on camera by the security person at the apartments. He was seen with other suspects. He was interviewed and he admitted to the offense. On the engaging on organized crime, prior to the burglary offense, at 16:40 hours, law enforcement responded to an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon call at the Walnut Ridge Apartments, where the victim said that there were 3 young Black males that were looking in his vehicle. When he went outside and confronted them, one of them, not Brandon, pointed a gun at him and told him, "You don't want any of this." Police did a field ID, and as soon as the victim saw Brandon, he confirmed that Brandon was one of the 3 suspects, but not the one with the gun.
Is he currently on probation?
He is on probation. He was placed on 1-year probation on the 31st of July of last year for unlawful use of a motor vehicle. Interim supervision was requested by Dallas County, and it became permanent on March the 28th. So he's currently on 1-year probation for unlawful use of motor vehicle with Dallas County.
All right, based on the information provided, I find that there's probable cause to believe that he's engaged in delinquent conduct. Mr. Hall, what say you regarding further detention?
Does he have a parent here?
Yes, mom is here today.
Yes.
I'd ask that he be released on a monitor, Judge.
Mom, what's he doing out burglarizing other people's apartments when he's already on probation?
That I cannot answer. All I can say is that he's been doing very good with school and any behavior like that. He's been at home because we do live in Garland, and he was just in Arlington visiting friends. So I don't know what happened in between then. So there hasn't been any kind of activities or anything. I'm just as shocked. I don't know. But he's been actually following his probation requirements. I just spoke to his probation officer yesterday. He was commending him and everything for staying on top of his community service and reporting and just doing everything that he's supposed to do. So this is, I don't know where this came from. Honestly, I don't have an answer.
All right. Are you the kind of parent who believes actions have consequences?
Yes, sir.
All right. What kind of consequence does Brandon need for what seems to be violating his probation? And at least he's admitted to committing 1 new offense.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, he would be restricted home, honestly, from here on out, because I don't know what happened, as I said. So I know that for sure. He would definitely be very, very supervised by me in Garden.
Well, this court takes gun crimes very, very seriously. And while the victim in the engaging crime said that Brandon was not the one who had the gun, he was nonetheless around people who had guns, or at least allegedly. And he at least admitted to breaking into the apartment and stealing a laptop and then running away from the scene. So based on the evidence presented, I find that if I were to release him today, he would be a danger to the community. And so I'm going to order his detention today. Mr. Conway, you need to get to level 1-0 in the back. And that'll give me reason to reconsider this decision in 2 weeks. But as for now, you'll be detained. That'll be the order of the court. All right. Thank y'all. Hello, Mr. Killingsworth. How are you?
Good.
All right. My name's Judge Porter. You have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim if you want. You also have the right to have this hearing recorded if you want either of those things. Your attorney, Mr. Willett, will let me know. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain or be released to a parent or guardian. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. As with past detention hearings, if there's something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, wave your hand like this, and that'll let me know you want to say something. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and Mr. Willett to talk about what you want to say, and that way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Lemire. This is a 10-day detention hearing for Mr. Killingsworth. Tell me a little bit more, please.
Yeah, he was referred in on 4/28 for an EM violation when he was released on 4/23. So he had a violation just 3 days after he was released. He is currently pending court for evading arrest, theft of property, theft from a person, and aggravated robbery. He's currently on level 1 right now. He reached that on 5/7. Peer conflict on 5/3, and he had another incident in the back using profanity and gang-related language. He has 11 referrals to our department.
All right. Mr. Killingsworth, we let you out last time. You cut your monitor 6 days later, right?
You say again, sir?
We let you out last time, and then 6 days later you were back here because your monitor got cut off, right?
Oh no, I ain't cut my monitor. I just violated. I ain't cut it off.
Well, Mr. Willett, you understand my reservation here, right?
Yes, I know, because he's had some priors. I don't think he cut it off, though. I think it was just a violation. At the time, he wasn't where he's supposed to be.
So he did go somewhere else?
I believe that's right. I don't think he cut it off, though.
Oh, okay. Does he have a parent or guardian here today? Mr. Lemire, do you know?
Oh, Your Honor, he talked to her 2-3 days ago, informed her of the hearing. I tried to call her this morning, and her phone wasn't on.
Okay. Mr. Willett, have you heard from Ms. Rose?
No, I have not.
Okay. Mr. Killingsworth, have you heard from Ms. Rose regarding whether she's going to be here today?
Yes, I talked to him on Mother's Day.
Okay. Did she say she was going to be here today?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't see her back there today, and Mr. Lemire has not talked to her. So even if I were inclined to release you today, I don't have somebody I can release you to. Okay. Here's the deal, Mr. Killingsworth. I want you to maintain level 1-0. And Mr. Willett, if you can get Ms. Rose here next Wednesday, you can request a special setting,
Okay.
and I'll consider it then. Okay.
All right.
All right, Mr. Killingsworth, wait, don't leave yet. I want you to maintain level 1-0 till next Wednesday, okay? Can you do that for me?
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
2-0 right now. No, I'm saying that he can, if he's level 1-0 next Wednesday, Mr. Willett can request a hearing. And if Ms. Rose is here, I will strongly consider it. Yes. That's all. All right, Mr. Lewis, hold on.
I'm here.
I was looking for you. All right. Okay. Mr. Parker, my name is Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in custody or be released to a parent or guardian, such as Ms. Hawthorne.
Yes.
You see Ms. Hawthorne on the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. You have the right to remain silent. Hold on, Ms. Hawthorne. Hold on. I'll get to you in just a minute. Mr. Parker, you have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, what I want you to do is wave your hand like this. That'll get my attention. It'll also get your attorney's attention, Mr. Hall. Do you see Mr. Hall on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and Mr. Hall to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Thomas, there you are. All right. What brings Mr. Parker to court today?
Mr. Parker was referred in custody on March 27th for a DTA issued by this department for EM removal and 2 additional charges of failure to ID and unlawful carrying of a weapon. On February 14th, it was discovered by the EM office that Lewis removed his EM bracelet at 8:55 a.m. and a DTA was issued. In regard to the unlawful carrying of a weapon and failure to ID, a forward police officer was patrolling and 2 males walking. The officer turned on his spotlights and detained both subjects. The individual in the hoodie identified himself as Brendan Bagley, date of birth March 1st, 2002. It was later discovered the subject's true identity was Lewis Calvin Parker III, a documented 300 Crip gang member. The second subject was identified as Leroy Alston. When searched, officers found a 9mm magazine to a gun in the pants of companion Alston, and the matching firearm was found in Lewis's underwear. The firearm was confirmed to be stolen out of Grand Prairie, Texas on June 3rd, 2019. It was loaded with a round in the chamber. Lewis was arrested and transported to detention without incident. He is currently pending capital murder charge as well as aggravated robbery and burglary of burglary.
All right. Ms. Hawthorne.
Yes.
Where did Mr. Parker get the gun?
From my understanding, he was hanging with a guy that got it from Leroy, the person that's who he got it from.
Okay. Ms. Thomas, Mr. Parker is currently level 2 in the back, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
What do we?
Your Honor, I'm sorry. He is currently also on the waiting list for a bed at Mejia State Hospital. And that approximate date of a bed availability. Second.
Okay. Ms. Hawthorne?
Yes.
Did you hear what Ms. Thomas had to say?
Yes. I am aware of the Mahel.
Okay. It's my understanding right now that if we were to release him to you, that would slow down his trip to Mejia.
Okay.
And my guess is that you want him to get to Mejia to help him, right?
I do, and I do want him to come home as well.
Well, which do you want more, for him to get help or for him to come home?
Get help.
All right. Mr. Hall, what are your thoughts?
I agree, Judge. I'd like to get him to Mejia as soon as we can. This has been pending for like 2 years. He had another attorney for the first year. And since I've had him, he's been not confident this entire time. So just need to get him where he can get some help.
All right. We're going to make that happen for you, Mr. Parker, okay?
Yes,
And the
sir.
best way to do that is I got to keep you back in detention. That way it doesn't slow down your availability to get to Mahia, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's going to be the order of court. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hawthorne. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Are you Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Reynolds, pull your chair a little closer to the computer. All right, my name is Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in custody or be released to a parent or guardian. You have the right to have this hearing recorded. You also have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. If you want either of those things, your attorney for today, Mr. Hall, will let me know. Do you see Mr. Hall on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's filling in for Mr. Berger today, okay?
Okay.
You also have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, I want you to wave your hand like this. That'll get my attention. That'll also get your attorney's attention. And I'll create a private internet chat room just for the two of y'all to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether you or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Lewis, I know you're here somewhere.
I'm here.
There you are. All right. What brings Mr. Reynolds to court today?
Dakota was referred on April 28th by the Fort Worth Police Department on a warrant for 2 counts of aggravated robbery. According to the police report on April 13th, the 2 victims called 911 from a store on McCart telling responding officers that they had just been robbed at gunpoint. Victims advised that they had made arrangements with an unknown party via Let Go app to sell an iPhone X. And when they arrived at the location, they felt like the seller, who they later identified as Dakota, they felt like his behavior was suspicious, so they tried to walk away. Dakota allegedly followed them. The victims state they saw him weaving behind parked cars and apparently trying to remove a gun from his pocket. He eventually did remove the gun. They attempted to run. Dakota allegedly pointed the pistol at the male victim and cocked it. The female victim stopped and threw the $200 she had brought to purchase the iPhone at him and dropped her backpack as she and the male victim fled, with Dakota allegedly in pursuit. Police identified Dakota as a suspect by contacting Let Go law enforcement liaison, securing the email address, name, and home address of the person who had created the account using an alias, August Jones. They got Dakota's school photo, showed it to both victims in separate photo lineups, and they allegedly identified him as the party with the gun that took their money. He has no prior history.
And he is currently at what level?
He is currently level 1 outstanding. He's had no problems in the back. I will mention also that the DA has just, as of yesterday, filed the case.
Okay. Mr. Hall, yeah.
Is grandmother here? I heard that.
Yes,
They
I
had
believe
it
she is.
yesterday, but nobody was present.
I believe that grandmother is here back in the parent room.
Okay, and I'd ask that he be released on the monitor to his grandmother.
Let's see. Are you Miss Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are your thoughts about all of this?
My thought about all this here is Dakota know well not to do what he done, and that with the bringing up with his parents both out of his life, and I'm the only one that's gonna be there to take care of him. I took him from his mother because his mother's not in his life. She gave me custody of him because she didn't want to be bothered. Dakota father is deceased. He got killed out in the streets and stuff. So I'm trying to raise him. And he's a very bright young man. He goes to school. He's passed all his set tests and everything in school. So I don't know what got into him to go out and do things like this here. He wasn't brought up as far as with me with that kind of background.
Who else is in your home living with y'all?
My wife and my daughter.
Okay. And your wife is obviously an adult. How old?
She's 68.
And how does Dakota mind her when you're not there?
Dakota's mostly, if he's not in school, he's mostly out and about, but he minds her when she tell him to do something, he does it.
Okay, well, with this coronavirus, COVID-19 going around, he doesn't need to be out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know. I understand that now with the virus going on. He don't need to be out because by me being elderly, and she's elderly at home as well. She's got a chronic illness as well as myself. And just like I told him, if you go out there, you can bring that back to either one of us.
Dakota, do you understand if you bring that virus back to either one of them, if they've got compromised immune system, it might just kill them?
Yes, sir.
Did you think about that? You did think about that?
Not really, sir.
Okay. Well, now you need to think about that.
Yes, sir.
If you're out running around and you come in contact with that and you bring it home and you give it to either one of them, it will probably kill them.
It gonna kill them.
Okay. I haven't seen my own mom since Christmas. And the specific reason is because she's got a compromised immune system, and I don't want to take the risk that I give her something that'll kill her. Okay, you're lucky. You get to see your moms every day.
Yes, sir.
But it's up to you to make sure that you keep them healthy. Okay, you running around with all this, that's not right.
And knowing that I'm the only one that he can depend on to take care of him. That's true.
Dakota, what are you going to do if your grandmother dies? Where are you going to live? Who's going to take care of you? Do you have a job?
No, sir.
Can you support yourself?
No, sir.
Who's going to feed you? Who's going to cook you meals? Who's going to make sure you got electricity and a warm bed?
No.
Nobody. Is that what you want?
No, sir.
What assurance do I have if I were to let you go back home to live with grandmother that you'd actually behave? That you'd not be running around and not bring something home that'll kill her?
I'm going to stay inside.
Why do I have my doubts? Because your grandmother just told me, except for school, you're just running around doing whatever you want. Yeah, I don't have much assurance, do I?
No, sir.
So maybe it's better off for your grandmother that I just keep you back in detention and make sure that you don't bring anything home that'll kill her.
How about I'm not going to go outside?
Mr. Williams, what says the state?
Judge, this appears to be a pretty serious offense with aggravated robbery. We would ask that he be detained. If the court is so inclined to release him, we would ask that it be with the electronic monitor.
Dakota, the only reason I'm going to agree to release you at Mr. Hall's request
Yes,
is
sir.
because you've told me you're going to stay home and you're not going to go out and pick up a virus that's going to kill your grandmother.
Yes, sir. You got my word.
If you violate this order, you're going to be on house arrest essentially. If
Yes.
you violate the electronic monitor, I will know within 20 seconds. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I will issue a directive to apprehend. You will be back in detention. And next time, I won't be so inclined to release you because you may not appreciate what your grandmother does for you, but I sure do. And it's up to me to protect her if you aren't willing to do it. You got that? Can I be any more serious about this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I really can, because you're facing a felony. Okay? And if you're so cavalier with your grandmother's health, that's a factor that the state can use against you at your trial to convince either me or Judge Kim or a jury or whomever that maybe you don't deserve probation if you're found guilty, or maybe you deserve to go to prison. This is how serious this is. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Grandmother, do you think that you can keep him at home like he's supposed to?
Yes, sir.
Do you want him to come home?
Yes, sir. I love my grandson to death.
All right. I'm going to take a chance on you, Mr. Reynolds. I am going to release you on the electronic monitor. I'm serious. If you violate this order, it's not whether I will issue a directive to apprehend. I promise you I will. You got that? I don't want you doing something that'll kill your grandmother. You got me? All right. Anything else from either side?
No.
All right. That'll be the order of the court.
Thank you,
That's
Judge.
my last one. That's my last one, Judge. I'm getting off of the thing.
Kills his grandmother, I'm gonna kill him. Not really.
So if you go back to that front lobby.
But
I don't realize how serious it is.
he didn't realize how lucky he is to get to be with his grandmother. What I wouldn't give if he was mine. Either one of them. Is that your phone? No, that's okay. Yes. Oh no. All right. There's Mr. Newman. All right. Do you pronounce your last name Rocha?
Rocha.
Rocha. Okay. Mr. Rocha, this is an out of custody detention hearing to determine whether or not you should be taken into custody or released to go back home. Do you have a parent or guardian here with you today?
I do.
Is that a yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I need you to pull your chair up closer to the computer. And I need you to sit up straight. Sit up straight. All right. And I need you to speak up. Okay. Mr. Neva, what's going on?
Yes, sir. Yesterday, turned in a progress report to Judge Kim, which he signed off and agreed to an out of custody hearing, as well as a drug test prior to this hearing. Jaleel tested negative on a UA, but Dad let me know yesterday that he's been having issues with Jaleel at home. He snuck a friend over to his house that Dad had to run off more than twice, and the friend came over to smoke with Jaleel. And Dad also added that he's not following directions at home, being disrespectful, and he's mentioning that he's thinking crazy thoughts, which puts Dad and Mom indifferent because they have a 2-year-old and a 13-year-old daughter that lives with them, and they're worried and about Jaleel's behavior basically escalating from here on out. But his original offense that he was referred for back on April 12th for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. According to the report, around 11:40, officers were dispatched to a domestic involving Jaleel and his father. Jaleel allegedly hit his dad with a stick that was 1 inch in diameter for approximately 4 feet long, 4 inches long, excuse me. Dad advised that his left hand might be broken. Officers arrived bruising and swelling on his hand, left forearm, and shoulder. Dad advised that they were just trying to clean out the garage so Jaleel could have a place to quarantine, as that's what they were arranging at the moment.
Do you have any prior referrals?
No, sir, no prior.
Mr. Newman, talk to me.
Well, Judge, I'm not exactly clear on what specific term and condition of release he's accused of violating. And so for that reason, I think that any concerns that the parents have could probably be addressed through other services as opposed to JPD.
Well, I believe one of the conditions of his release was probably that he is to not use marijuana or drugs or illegal substances, correct?
Yeah, my understanding from Mr. Nava's statement prior to this was that Jaleel did test negative on the UA.
Yes, but father reports that he was smoking, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. Nava, remind me if you remember which, was I the one who released Mr. Rocha
Yes, sir.
last time?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rocha,
Yes, sir.
I gave you a shot last time.
Mm-hmm.
According to what I'm hearing today, you didn't use that shot very wisely. So I'm really not inclined to release you today. I'm rather inclined to order that you be detained because your dad had to run off somebody from your house twice, which shows you don't want to listen to him. You don't want to follow his rules. So you have to follow either my rules or your dad's rules. My rules involve you going back to detention, where you're not going to be able to sneak in your friends, where you're not going to be able to smoke weed, you're not going to watch TV, you're not going to be able to play on the internet. What's your response, Mr. Rocha?
I mean, I really,
it's not a response.
my friend,
I mean, it's a stalling tactic.
my friend came over to bring me some clothes at some point, and that was it.
All right. Mr. Rocha, I might have been inclined to release you until you opened your mouth and you lied to me, because what you just told to me was a lie. He was not merely bringing you over clothes. We both know that, because if that were the truth, he would have left him on the front porch. You would have gotten him, and that would be into it. Your dad would not have had to chase your friend off twice. So that's a lie.
The first time he had came over was when I had got released. I wanted to see him. But the second time he had came over was when he had brought me some clothes. I was in the garage, and I had the garage door pulled up, and he had brought me the clothes, but then he had left after that. He left after that.
What, Mr. Rocha, what you're selling, I'm not buying. So because you can't be truthful to me,
I'm not lying.
I believe differently. Because you cannot be truthful with me, you're going to get to spend the next 3 days in detention. If you get to level 1-0, then you can be released. Until then, you are a guest of Judge Kim's bed and breakfast. And that will be the order of the court.
Thank you, Judge.
Excuse, Judge.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Newman.
Thank you.
It's not a good idea to lie to Judge Porter. You had a chance until then.
That officer that was in here, he might want to talk to you out there.
I
don't think so. I think.
Did I give you this? I'm sorry. Okay. And Ms. Lederman.
Judge.
I'm disappointed. I was expecting a more tropical background.
I'm trying to look professional today.
Oh,
We may be here a while. I'm feeling we're going to be on these for a while. Trying to.
All right. How are we doing on getting the feed from Tarrant County Jail?
Okay, so we did have.
Here, let me short circuit this a little bit, Ms. Lederman. Mr. Howard. Oh, there we do have a parent or guardian. Okay. All right, Ms. Lederman, give me your spiel.
Judge, we had a bond hearing virtually with Judge Wynn and the prosecutor, Matt Rivers, who was handling the adult cases. She said the risk assessment was actually very favorable for my client. He had a 100%, which means on the risk assessment, he had a 100% appearance rate, and the risk assessment was actually very favorable for him. Her quote is, the FTA score of 100% is actually points in your client's favor. It means he's shown up to every court appearance he's had in the last 2 years. She then entered an order in reference to the bond hearing, which I just deleted. She says she's reviewed the risk assessment and the FTA score. She received input from both sides who agreed to handle the motion via email. After all consideration, I'm setting the bond at $50,000. So she reduced it from $250,000 down to $50,000. She then ordered release to CSCD only, GPS with house arrest, no new offenses, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Report is directed. UAs as directed. No contact with Patrick Allen, Maya Johnson, Braylon Brown, Rancy Guerin, Jaden Williams, or Adrian Robinson. Proceeding will be signed. So that was her ruling, yes, May 11th.
All right. Is this court bound by Judge Wynn's ruling?
No, that she's a separate proceeding. That was, I believe, the state's issue on this case had been that his bond was set so high and that a $250,000 bond should be an issue. And now we're seeing that the bond was actually reduced. So that's kind of where we are on that. I think the issue had always been, well, the bond is so high, it's so serious. Well, then we went to Judge Wynn, she reviewed it, and she's drastically reduced the bond.
All right. Any other reasons I should consider?
I think that's kind of where we were on the revocation issues.
Okay. Based on the information before me, and I've reviewed the offense report, I've also reviewed the respondent's history with the department.
Honey, I am.
Okay, and my fear is that if I were to release him today, that he is likely to reoffend, and so on that basis, I'm going to order that he be detained. Anything else from either side?
No, you're on.
All right, that's the order of the court. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.